Hi everyone, welcome to my next video. I realize the title for this video might sound a little drastic. Are seniors a dying breed? And I wanted to mention this because I think drastic is what's going on. And drastic is unfortunately what I believe where the world is going. And this may not be a feel-good kind of a video, but I've been thinking about doing it for a long time, and it's been on my mind, so I thought I'm going to talk about it, and I'm very, very interested in what any of you seniors think. If you share some of the same concerns that I have, or maybe you don't. And as I grow older, I guess I'm reflecting more on my life in a good way. And so what I see, particularly now that we have the internet and I have access to so many of these YouTube videos and so much of what younger people are doing these days, and because of the internet, I see the world becoming not only more distant, lacking compassion, lacking empathy, and focusing more on materialistic goals and financial gain. And that is not everyone. I am not making a generalization because I'm aware of other people who are not following that mindset. However, what I see is an up and coming generation leading the way for this to become a more dominant force in the world. And as we seniors grow older, we remember when we grew up without all the internet nonsense and the cell phones and the constant connectivity that is supposedly so valuable, which I see as damaging, but that's just me. But I see the value in seniors being less and less valued by the young. Now, I'm not sure if that's the way of nature and if that's just a natural progression, because I remember when I was a kid and I was a hippie in the 60s, I didn't think my parents knew anything. And maybe that's the way we're supposed to be geared as youngsters, determined to find our own way and make life the way we see it. Yet I didn't have the level of disdain and anger and rage towards older people which exists today. And I'm so sad to see it, more and more so with each passing year. But here's what I see happening gradually, and so gradually it's almost not even noticeable. But as I age, I am more and more determined to leave behind a legacy of positive thoughts, inspiring stories, whether it be in my YouTube videos or in my books. And I am more determined to do that because I see up and coming generations not valuing seniors at all. And that is of great concern to me because I see a world slowly evolving into not only a lack of concern for elders, but a lack of concern for others. And not only that, but a lack of appreciation for nature. And again, I'm not making a generalized, sweeping assumption on people as a whole, but I see it more so as a dominant factor. And maybe I'm not seeing enough goodness in the world. Maybe I'm being led to a lot of negativity from the internet, and maybe that's all I'm seeing. And that would be great if that's the case. but I'm seeing the value in seniors becoming less and less appreciated. And so I'm fighting back with my own voice in written form and video form to hopefully leave this world a better place with my positivity, my uplifting spirit, and my light in the darkness. Now, I am very intuitive, and if you've read my book, There Is a Something, I have had very strong intuitive flashes of insight that have come true. And I really hope I'm wrong on this one. But I have felt it get stronger over the years. And I see it becoming more and more reality. And that is that we are destroying ourselves as humans. And we are destroying our ability to think for ourselves with the advent of AI and ChatGPT, and encouraging kids in school to not figure things out for themselves or doing math by hand or in our heads, but just looking it up on the internet and letting AI figure it out for ourselves, for us. And that is such an incredibly dangerous way to teach a child, because can you imagine an entire new generation growing up just following what they're being dictated? Because that's what they're being taught. They're being taught to follow what they're being dictated. And it is so subliminal and so subtle that I fear this world is going to be a I can't even say it, you know what I mean, totalitarianism government, if it isn't already. And I'm not so good at pronouncing these words I barely use, so forgive me, but I think you know what I mean. And I see the act of critical thinking, logical thinking, having the courage to challenge the status quo. I see it as a threat, and I see it as being stomped out and extinguished. And us seniors who grew up this way, to use our own mind and to question and to not necessarily follow what's being dictated to us, which we did in the 60s. We were very, very rebellious, and I loved it because that was kind of my personality anyway. Peace, love, and flowers in our hair. That's how I grew up. Well, where did that go? Nowhere, right? But I still carry that in my heart, because I'm going to continue to be that way for as long as I'm here. And I wonder if some of you seniors feel the same way. And if you see the world becoming a colder, more distant, emotionally void place. And of course we're being led by the constant use of the internet and computers, and by what I recently learned was the Gen X stare, because I had that story about that girl in the supermarket just staring at me with these dead eyes, no expression, no facial features, no vocal concern for me at all, and just the body language, standing there like a robot, terrified me. It really did, because I think that's where we're going. Now, there's one other concern I have, and it is beyond my control, and I think and I believe that we have had numerous previous civilizations that have destroyed themselves. And I say this because I'm fascinated by many of these YouTube videos I love to watch about all the megaliths, rock formations that are being discovered around the world, and how they are built beyond our even present capabilities with the exact formations and designs that are beyond our explanations and beyond what our technology can even do today. And that proves that we were here before, either as humans or as non-humans, and that we disappeared. Maybe we destroyed all of our resources here on Earth and we went to another planet. And maybe all of these UFO sightings are our ancestors coming back to see what we're doing now. And is that so far-fetched? No, absolutely not. But I think a lot of people hesitate to believe it because it's too frightening. But I think there's every single possibility to that. And why not? Why not believe in what we don't understand? Because there is much in life that we don't understand. Heck, we don't even understand our own behavior. We don't even understand our own mind and what our own minds are capable of. And maybe that's because we fear what we're capable of. And if we ever do realize what we are capable of, then that means taking responsibility for what we're capable of, right? And that's a scary thought, because what if we don't want to? What if we don't want to take that risk, right? Well, I would love to know what I'm capable of, especially with my paranormal experiences. And I have never really tried to develop my abilities. I've sort of put that off as one day maybe I'll try it again and work with some of the things that have worked for me before. But there's that hesitation. What if I discover that there are abilities I'm capable of? What will I do then? Will it frighten me? Will I take responsibility for it? Will I go further and learn things about myself that I never imagined before? That can be overwhelming. So as we seniors age and watch the younger generations become more powerful in our world, I'm very curious about your own concept of that and what you think about being pushed out in terms of feeling that we're no longer contributing in a way because we're viewed as old-fashioned and critical thinking does not mesh with AI. And because we grew up in a different world where analytical thinking and tackling projects in our own way, mentally and emotionally, are now outdated. Because all you have to do is ask the computer, and the computer will tell you what to do. And there you go. No responsibility. It's all on the computer. And from what I'm seeing, people are being taught to blindly follow what they're being told. Now that will lead to an entirely new population of people that will be easily controlled. And of course, that is by design. And people who are resistant to that will become a threat. And I believe that's why we already are a threat. And that is why seniors have been treated so poorly and in so many different ways, and that's an entirely different subject. But I believe that is also by design, to extinguish us and to push us out of the way because we no longer fit with this computerized digital world, and there is no compassion, there is no sympathy, and there are no expectations for us to have any more importance. And even more so, to find fault with us for their problems, because that is much easier than taking responsibility for their own. So I'm just really curious. I've been thinking about talking about this for a long time, this is another reason why I decided to live out here in the woods. Because this is truly my hideout for just more than one reason. Not only to be in nature, but to enjoy it while it's still here. Because one day it will be no longer here. And we see it disappearing, sadly enough, with what's going on. And it's continuing, and it will continue to do so until we completely obliterate it. Not in my lifetime, maybe not in our children's lifetime, but we do not have the intelligence to realize that we're destroying ourselves, just like whoever built those megaliths did. And I want to leave behind a record about what it was like to live with empathy, with compassion, with sympathy, with insight, and with critical thinking. And maybe one day all these videos will be completely gone and no longer available or even considered important. But I like to think that maybe one day they will be. Who knows? So again, I think it's not a doom and gloom kind of scenario. But again, it's a fact that I believe we've done this all before, maybe more than once. And if you're curious about those megaliths, they are absolutely fascinating. And clearly, whoever built them were more technically advanced than we certainly are today, or we may ever be. And if that's not proof enough that there has been a previous life form on this planet way more technically advanced than us, and they have all disappeared, if that's not warning enough, I don't know what is. So I've been thinking about this a lot. I'm glad I did this video. And again, for all you seniors, and even for those younger, I would love to hear your thoughts and your comments. And if you're motivated even more after watching this, to maybe write your life story, your memoir, a journal, anything that you would like to contribute to a world that's quickly losing its grip on humanity. And I think that would be a very beautiful tribute, not only to each of us as a legacy, but to humans and future generations. I thank all of you. I love my channel, and I so appreciate you all, and I welcome all your comments, all your questions. Take care, everyone, and I hope you're all having a really great day.